Hello and welcome to NewsClick. Today we have with us Thomas Franco, Secretary of IBOC, to discuss the PNB issue. Hello sir, welcome to NewsClick.
Thank you.
Sir, can you give us a little background about the PNB issue, because it's all mired in a lot of technicalities and it's quite difficult for us common people to understand it.
It's very simple. See, bank has a system called the letter of undertaking. When a customer who has import or export, he approaches the bank, he requests the bank for a letter of undertaking, which is nothing but a guarantee for a loan. That guarantee is issued to a foreign bank branch, based on which that particular bank will give the borrower loans abroad. These loans are cheaper abroad, so people prefer to go. People prefer to avail the loan abroad because the interest rate is cheaper there. Here, the procedure for issuing a letter of undertaking is that the bank will get adequate security, either in the way of deposits or in the way of collaterals. Normally, it is issued for a period of 90 days. So, within that 90 days, the borrower abroad, the same customer who has companies abroad, or another company which is supplying goods to this person who is in India, he will repay the loan to the bank which is abroad. Then the LOU gets cancelled. Now, here in the case of the Punjab National Bank, what mistake has taken place or what fraud has taken place is that many LOUs have been issued in the month of February 2017 without taking any security from the customer. Though this borrower, Mr. Nirav Modi, has an account with a credit limit of around 1,000 crores, that loan account was not utilized. No security was taken, no collateral was obtained, but a particular officer, in collusion with another two officers, has issued only a SWIFT message. SWIFT is nothing but Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Transactions. That is an electronic system through which communication between banks take place. The normal procedure is once an LOU is sanctioned to a particular customer, a SWIFT message will be sent to the foreign bank from here, which will be a coded message, which will have all the details of the guarantee. For whom it is given, the credit worthiness of that borrower, what kind of business he is doing, and for what purpose this guarantee is given. So once that message is received at the other end, the code is verified, and if it agrees, that particular bank will take it as legal and it will provide credit to that particular customer abroad. Now suppose it is for 90 days. Within 90 days, if he pays back to that particular bank, there is no liability for the Indian bank which issued the LOU. The period is over, it ceased to exist. But in this particular case in February, I understand there are 5-6 transactions which are SWIFT messages sent by Punjab National Bank, Bombay, to foreign countries, to foreign branches of Indian banks itself, based on which that person has been given a credit, and this LOU has been issued for a period of around 345 days. Though there is a provision that in case of certain high-value customers, depending on the type of transaction which is taking place, it can be given for 1 year also. So these particular LOUs have been issued for 340 to 45 days. None of them is due for invocation. Only if the money is not paid at the foreign bank branch by end of February, those banks will invoke the guarantee from the Indian bank, that is the Punjab National Bank, which has issued this LOU, which is just a simple guarantee. First thing people have to understand is that as on today, there is no loss actually. There is only a notional loss. If these customers are paying back to those bank branches abroad in time, that is probably within February end, then the liability of the LOU gets cancelled and the Punjab National Bank may not lose any money. But if they don't pay, then those banks will invoke the guarantee and Punjab National Bank will have the liability to pay. This is a simple operation of an LOU and SWIFT.
Sir, but we have also heard from newspaper sources, of course, nothing is very specific, but people are saying that this LOU, which has been given in February, was actually given to cover previously taken credit from abroad.
It can be correlated that way. See, from 2011 onwards, this company has been enjoying this facility. So 90 days you take one LOU. After 90 days you come for another LOU. The same fund you are using you are recycling that fund. So what happens is, say for example, in 2011 for 200 crores LOU was issued. That person has availed the loan abroad. On the 90th day he pays 200 crores. And 91st day he is asking the PNB of India, Bombay, to again provide another LOU for 90 days, again avails that credit, or this time he asks for more. Instead of 200, he asks for say 300. So that way he might have been doing it over a period of time, increasing the limit. That is why now the limit has come to 11,400, out of which around 1,000 crore is only a credit limit. So around 10,400 crores is the LOU outstanding.
Also, sir, from what we hear from the news, this person, the person who is supposed to have colluded with Nirav Modi, the officer of PNB, it doesn't. By all means, he sounds like an honest and upright person, because people are saying, or his colleagues are saying, that there has never been any problem with him, and he has been working in that branch for a long time. So, what is really the issue? Is it a fraud, or is it something that is taken for granted in banks, that happens in a normal course of time, that you trust this your customer and then use these loopholes within the banking system rules?
No, see, banks' procedures are very clear. How big the customer may be, whatever may be his credit worthiness, an LOU or a guarantee cannot be issued without adequate security. So now, though he might have been honest, he might not have taken a bribe, but if he has given this LOU without security, the procedure lapse is there. It is a mistake. So action will be taken. That's why they have already suspended around 20 officers. Though directly involved will be only 3 people who are handling the SWIFT message. There are other people probably because of vicarious responsibility, that effective supervision has not been taken place, a proper audit have been not done, the supervisory lackness is there. Maybe because of this already 20 people have been suspended.
Well, isn't it usually the case that in bank, for large transactions, audit take place probably maybe in the same month or the next day? So how can this how can this escape for so many years?
See, there are 3 types of audits. One is an annual audit done by a statutory auditor who is a chartered accountant. That is on an annual basis. Internal audit takes place normally once in 2 years. Then there is a Reserve Bank audit, wherever there are large advances under Section 35A of Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank itself conducts audits. Unfortunately, none of these audits have pointed out this, because this was not linked to the core banking solution. So the problem is with the SWIFT. It is high time world over and within India, Reserve Bank takes immediate steps to see what is the problem with this reconciliation system in SWIFT. This is not the first time it has happened. It has happened in Union Bank of India, it has happened in Bank of Baroda recently itself, 1 or 2 years back. At least by that time, Reserve Bank should have woken up, though they have sent some advisory report to the banks that you should be extra cautious. The reconciliation part with the SWIFT message and the Nostro account, that has always been a problem, and this has led to this kind of fraud, which is the same modus operandi is repeated again and again. So both the government as well as the Reserve Bank has to take responsibility for this. That why they have not been supervising, why they have not put in a better system of reconciliation, that is also to be answered.
Sir, are you saying that the SWIFT transactions, when audit happens, the SWIFT transactions are not looked at? That the audit does not go through the SWIFT transactions and try to reconcile them with the existing core bank transactions?
They will definitely have to go through, but what happens is, see, suppose I have issued a LOU for 90 days. It is in vogue, it is not overdue. When I go as an auditor, I may not see it as a big issue because no claim has come. Only if somebody is going to claim that you issued an LOU, the borrower has been given credit, he is not repaying, so we are invoking the guarantee clause. Then it becomes an issue. So even auditors might have had an oversight, though it is a mistake. They should have scrutinized it better. If they would have scrutinized it properly, they would have come to know.
So, sir, what is the stand of IBOC on this? Because it is an officers' confederation, so you have a better idea of what are the problems, what are the loopholes, what are your concrete demands in this regard?
One, we should take stringent action against the officers who are colluded with the borrower. That should be a message. But there should not be a creation of a panic, saying that just because it happened in one branch of Punjab National Bank, there must be similar thing all over. That I don't think is a correct version. This is an isolated case which has to be dealt with very firmly. But what is more important are two things. One, the swift reconciliation system, Nostro account reconciliation system has to be improved. The loopholes have to be arrested immediately. Earlier, we had a system called TT payable, where through telegraphic transfer we transfer the amount through a coded message, which is verified again using a code, and that reconciliation used to be monitored every week to see that the real transactions only have taken place. A similar thing should have been established for SWIFT also. Unfortunately, it appears to be not working that way. So that has to be corrected, and this only Reserve Bank in our country can take that responsibility to do that and instruct banks to create a revised system and procedure. Number two, now people are connecting everything to the non-performing assets and performance of the bank. One author has written today an article that it is high time we privatize the public sector bank. This has nothing to do with private sector or public sector. Similar frauds have taken place in public sector banks as well as private sector banks earlier. There are number of cases which I am aware. We know of the case of the Global Trust Bank which went burst and it has to be taken over by the Oriental Bank of Commerce. But today, the non-performing asset is something which has to be addressed quickly, for which whatever Reserve Bank of India is not doing adequate. More than this fraud, the biggest problem which has come to the banking industry is because of the announcement of the Reserve Bank of India a few days back that all the loans which are NPA for 180 days, they should be transferred to the NCLT. The NCLT already has more than 2000 cases which is pending with that, and it will find it very difficult to solve these cases quickly. But the most difficult thing for the bank is that when it is just a substandard asset, you have to create a provision for just 15%. Whereas the moment an NPA is transferred to NCLT, you have to create a provision of 50% because of the RBI guideline, which guideline itself is a wrong thing. Because these loans have been secured through collateral securities, there is every possibility that we will get back a considerable amount back. But this creation of 50% provision immediately will be affecting the banks, and all the Indian banks will go into losses because of just a change in the norms by Reserve Bank of India. So they have to have a relook, otherwise the banking industry will plunge into a crisis.
So you think that instead of making these mindless rules, Reserve Bank actually should be more interested in enforcing the checks and balances within the banking system?
Exactly, that is the crux of the issue. The checks and balances have to be monitored by Reserve Bank of India and by the Finance Ministry. Another point here I would like to highlight is that, see, there are no board officer director or employee director in the banks. So whatever audit is taking place or reports are taking place, given, or the loan sanctions or waivers are done, it is all done in the boards where there is no transparency as on date, because there is no representative from the workman or officer, which is mandatory as per the law, which this government is not implementing. And Reserve Bank has a role there also. The board of director, which is an officer director or employee director as per the law, is to be appointed in consultation with the Reserve Bank of India. Banks have sent their recommendations, but they have been kept on hold for so long. And a government which talks about transparency is remaining opaque in this area. So immediately both Finance Ministry and Reserve Bank should intervene and appoint officer director, employee directors.
Thank you for giving us this time, and we hope to get back to you on this issue in the coming few days.